Hi, I'm Lisa. This is another video where I help you sound like a native speaker. I will teach you the expressions that a native speaker is using and give you sample sentences so that you can sound like he does. We will analyze my conversation with a young man named Connor. I met Connor when I was on vacation in Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe is in Northern California. It's a gorgeous lake and it's a wonderful vacation spot. Connor was driving the boat that we rented. We had some extra time on the boat, so Connor agreed to have a conversation with me to talk about his life and his job. He used a lot of different expressions and words that you may not learn in your English classes, but that native speakers use all the time. Let's watch the first part of my conversation with Connor, where he talks about his job. And then I will come back and I will teach you the expressions he was using, and I will give you other sample sentences so that you can use the expressions as well.
I am a boat captain here on Lake Tahoe. I generally drive boats for between 4 and 10 hours a day, and I get to meet all different types of people from different parts of the United States.
What's your favorite thing about your job?
I like being in the sun and I like being on the water. I love teaching people how to go inner tubing behind the boat and teaching people the fun facts about Lake Tahoe. In order to be a good boat captain, first of all, you need your captain's license, some certification, some process that you go through in order to drive boats legally. You also need to be a good people person. You need to know how to make conversation with different types of people. And lastly, you need to know how to park a boat and drive a boat. I think those are the most challenging things. When you take customers to a restaurant like Garwood's over there, you need to be able to dock the boat nice and slowly without hitting other boats. And you need to be able to drive fast when your customers want to go tubing behind the boat and make it an enjoyable time for them.
Do you also do winter sports at Lake Tahoe?
Yes, I do. I'm a big snowboarder. That's actually how I got this job. I was snowboarding one day at Squaw here in Lake Tahoe, and I met the owner of this company on a chairlift, and him and I hit it off, and we ended up going out to lunch together, and I got hired with this company. But I'm a big snowboarder, and I love teaching my friends and family how to snowboard as well.
Sounds like you're really athletic.
I am. I love doing all types of sports. A couple of my favorite sports are snowboarding, wakeboarding, and cliff jumping. When I was in high school, I taught wakeboarding. I taught people how to wakeboard behind boats. And in college, I got really into cliff jumping, which is jumping off of rocks of various heights. The biggest rock that I've ever jumped off was 62 feet, and I love doing flips off of rocks.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Let's listen to the way Connor used get to.
And I get to meet all different types of people from different parts of the United States.
Connor said, I get to meet all different types of people from different parts of the United States. To get to means to have an opportunity to do something exciting or interesting. You can say, I get to travel a lot for my job. Or, on Fridays, we get to go home from school early. Why does she always get to use the iPad? So to get to means to have an opportunity to do something that you really want to do, something that you like. The next expression is people person. Let's listen.
You also need to be a good people person. You also need to be a good people person.
Connor said that for his job, you need to be a good people person. And do you remember this expression from my conversation with Drake? Let's listen. It would seem to me that you would need to be a people person to be a host in a restaurant.
Yeah.
You consider yourself a people person?
Absolutely. And in the restaurant, that's very important, especially a restaurant like this.
A people person is someone who likes other people. They like talking to people, and they're very social. She's such a people person. She makes friends everywhere she goes. So, if you enjoy meeting people and you like talking to people, you are a people person. You are an extrovert. And the opposite of a people person would be an introvert. Let's listen to the way Connor used to make conversation.
You need to know how to make conversation with different types of people.
If you make conversation with someone, that means maybe you start a conversation with someone that you don't know, or you just speak to people in order to be polite. And you can use to make conversation like this. Nice weather, isn't it? He said, trying to make conversation. She's a people person who likes to make conversation with the customers. He has a talent for making conversation with strangers. Is it easy for you to make conversation with people? If you'd like to improve your English, I recommend that you get used to making conversation with strangers. It's a great way to practice your English. Let's listen to the way Connor used lastly.
And lastly, you need to know how to park a boat and drive a boat.
And lastly, you need to know how to drive a boat and park a boat. Lastly means my final point is, or the last thing I want to say is, you can simply say lastly. You can say, and lastly, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. So instead of always saying in conclusion, try using the word lastly. The next one is a phrasal verb, to hit it off. Let's listen to the way Connor used it.
Him and I hit it off.
Connor said, we hit it off and we ended up going out to lunch. If you hit it off with someone, you become friendly with them the moment you meet them. You connect really well immediately. You hit it off with them. The first time you meet them, they like you and you like them. You hit it off. We have a lot in common. We hit it off right away. You should meet my friend. I think you two will really hit it off. Let's listen to the way Connor used the adjective big.
Yes, I do. I'm a big snowboarder.
Connor said, I'm a big snowboarder. I'm very interested in it. I'm very passionate about it. I'm a big snowboarder. You can say, he's a big golfer, or I'm a big fan of that type of music. Let's listen to the way some other people used big in this context.
I love it. I'm a big chocolate guy. I've not tasted chocolate as good as this for a long time.
Thank you.
And I'm a big believer that we can change these things.
The next phrasal verb is ended up. And for this phrasal verb, we need ended up plus a verb plus ing. Let's listen to Connor.
We ended up going out to lunch together and
We hit it off and we ended up going out to lunch. So to end up means to result in, to finish. In the end, this is what happened. This is how things ended up. Remember, to make it grammatically correct, you need a verb plus ing. For example, you can say, they hit it off immediately and they ended up getting married 6 months later. We got to have the ing there, getting married. We planned to leave the party at 10 p.m., but we ended up staying until midnight. Do you know what this is called? This is a cliff, and Connor loves cliff jumping. Let's listen to the way Connor used the expression to get into.
in college I got really into cliff jumping, which is jumping off of rocks of various heights.
He said, in college, I got really into cliff jumping. To get into something means to become interested in doing something, to start enjoying something, to get involved in doing something. You can say, when did you get into skiing? I got into skiing when I was in high school. I tried yoga, but I never really got into it. And that means I never really became passionate about it. I never really got very interested in it. I wasn't excited about it. I tried watching that movie, but I just couldn't get into it. If you like something a lot, you can say, I'm really into it. But if you don't like it, you can say, I'm not into it. I'm not interested in it. Let's listen to the way some other people used get into.
And I got into it because I wanted to help people feel better.
I'm really into the YouTube animation community.
I'm really into food. I love it.
Now let's watch the second part of my conversation with Connor. In this part, he talks about some facts about Lake Tahoe. Let's listen and then I'll come back.
Lake Tahoe is absolutely massive. I like to call it a mini ocean. It gets choppy in the afternoons. People surf on this lake during the winter time because the winds can be so big. People can actually paddle out and surf.
Wow.
Very cold, but they do it. This lake is about 22 miles long north to south, and it's about 11 miles long east to west. So it's a massive lake. The deepest point of this lake is about 1,645 feet deep. So it's the second deepest lake in the United States after Crater Lake up in Oregon.
And the water looks really clear.
Yep, we have some of the cleanest water in the United States. It's about 99.9% pure. This lake is so deep that it filters itself. It has its own circulation system, and it also never freezes because it is so deep and large. A lot of people think because Lake Tahoe gets cold in the wintertime, the lake freezes, but it cannot freeze because of its depth.
That's so interesting. I heard that people who live in San Francisco often have a second home in Lake Tahoe. Is that true?
Yes, that's very true. San Francisco is only a 4-hour drive from here. A lot of people in San Francisco even have, direct flights. They'll take a private plane straight from San Francisco here to the Truckee Airport, which is, less than an hour plane ride, really convenient for them. It seems like about 50% of the homes here in Lake Tahoe are lived in year-round, and then the other 50% of the homes are second, third, fourth homes for wealthy individuals. Lake Tahoe was really popular in the 1930s. There was a lot of San Francisco families that were prominent and were building big, beautiful mansions in Lake Tahoe. And so I think that's when it really all began, when the San Franciscans started wanting to vacation in Lake Tahoe and have a close getaway.
How much are some of these homes worth? What do you think?
Oh boy. All the homes that you can see here on the shoreline are probably starting at $10 million. We looked at a house earlier today that was $75 million.
That's insane.
The housing in Lake Tahoe is very expensive.
Instead of saying very big or very large, you can say absolutely massive. Let's listen to Connor.
Lake Tahoe is absolutely massive. I like to call it a mini ocean.
Let's listen to how some other people used absolutely massive.
In reality, however, the Mariana Trench is absolutely massive.
This thing has an absolutely massive triple slot cooler.
This house is absolutely massive. So next time, if you want to explain that something is really large, it's huge, why don't you use the expression absolutely massive? And you know the meaning of the word chop, to cut something, that's to chop. But Connor used choppy. Let's listen.
It gets choppy in the afternoons.
Connor said the lake gets choppy in the afternoons. Choppy means to have many small waves, rough waves. The sea is choppy today because of the wind. I also use the word choppy when I teach the American accent. If your speech is choppy, you're not connecting words together. You're pronouncing each word separately. Hi, my name is Lisa. That's choppy. Make sure your speech is not choppy by learning the rules of linking. And of course, you can get the American accent course that teaches you all of those rules. All right, let's go on to the next expression. This is another little grammatical point. When we say second plus the superlative form of an adjective, this is a very common way to express something. And Connor said the second deepest.
So it's the second deepest lake in the United States after Crater Lake up in Oregon.
Connor said that Lake Tahoe is the second deepest lake in the United States. He's the second best tennis player in the world. This is the second most expensive house in this area. Are you the oldest child in your family? No, I'm the second oldest. There are many different ways to say yes in English. Connor said, yep. And that's a very, very common one. Let's listen. The water looks really clear.
Yep, we have some of the cleanest water in the United States.
So what's the difference between yes and yep? Yep is a little bit more casual. People use it all the time, but I wouldn't recommend saying yep when you're answering a question in a job interview, for example. In that case, I would definitely say yes. But otherwise, yep is super, super common. Let's listen to people saying yep.
Yep. That's a castle.
Yup. Lowercase q. Deal with it.
Yes.
Yep. And all that stuff. And I was like, yep.
27 things about introverts. I was like, yep.
Do you know the expression year-round? Let's listen to Connor.
It seems like about 50% of the homes here in Lake Tahoe are lived in year-round.
Connor said 50% of the homes in Lake Tahoe are lived in year-round. And year-round means all year, throughout the whole year. You can use the indoor swimming pool year-round. The museum is open year-round. I'm sure you know the word vacation. That's a noun. But have you ever used it as a verb? Let's listen to Connor.
When the San Franciscans started wanting to vacation in Lake Tahoe and have a close getaway.
Connor said San Franciscans wanting to vacation at Lake Tahoe. So as you can see, you can also use vacation as a verb. You can say vacationed or vacationing. You can say, we vacationed in Hawaii last year. You know the phrasal verb to get away, right? But we can also use it as a noun. We can say, a getaway. Let's listen to Connor.
When the San Franciscans started wanting to vacation in Lake Tahoe and have a close getaway.
Connor said that Lake Tahoe is a close getaway for people living in San Francisco. And we're going to stress the first part, getaway. A getaway is a short trip, often just for the weekend, when you go someplace that's not too far away from where you live. A vacation is longer and it's often planned, but a getaway is short and usually it's spontaneous. It's not planned. It's a place to escape, a place to get away. Spending time in the mountains is our favorite getaway. Santa Barbara is a perfect weekend getaway for residents of Los Angeles. Do you know the meaning of the word insane? Insane means crazy, not mentally healthy. But it's also an expression that has a slightly different meaning. Let's listen to the way I used insane.
We looked at a house earlier today that was $75 million.
That's insane. When Connor told me that there was a house in Lake Tahoe that cost $75 million, I said, that's insane. Repeat after me. That's insane. Insane means crazy. That's unbelievable. That's insane. Instead of saying, that's very expensive, I can't believe it's so expensive, you can say, that's an insane amount of money. Repeat after me. That's an insane amount of money. He must be insane to surf on that giant wave.
You think, God, $100,000 for that piece, that's insane.
And that's insane.
That's insane to me. Like, the fact that he doesn't go to Chipotle is insane to me.
That's insane.
That's insane.
And in the final part of my conversation, I asked Connor about living in Sacramento. That's where he's originally from. Let's listen, and then I'll come back.
I liked growing up in Sacramento, California because it was close to San Francisco and it was also close to Lake Tahoe. It was right in between the two, about 2 hours to the city of San Francisco and about 2 hours to the mountains in Lake Tahoe. So I thought it was a great place to grow up. The one downside to living in Sacramento was it is very hot. During the summertime, we had multiple 100-degree days, if not more than that.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Connor.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
Let's listen to the way Connor used downside.
The one downside to living in Sacramento was it is very hot.
Connor said, the one downside to living in Sacramento is that it's very hot. If something has a downside, it has a negative aspect, something that you don't like about it, or something that is bad about it. And let's make sure that you can use downside grammatically correctly. So we say downside to doing something. So you need the preposition to and then the verb with the ing. You can say, are there any downsides to buying this house? Or you can say, everything is great about it. There are no downsides. There are no downsides to it. There are no downsides to doing it. If you're going to use the verb, make sure you add the ing. Instead of saying many, you can say multiple. Let's listen to Connor.
During the summertime, we had multiple 100-degree days, if not more than that.
Connor said in Sacramento, they had multiple 100-degree days. And 100-degree temperature in Fahrenheit is very hot. And they had multiple 100-degree days, and that simply means many. The next expression is if not more. Let's listen to Connor.
During the summertime, we had multiple 100-degree days, if not more than that.
Connor said multiple 100-degree days, if not more than that. If not more means at least that much, but maybe more. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than that. So probably more than 100 degrees. You can use the expression this way. You can say if not more, or if not more than that, or if not more so. You can say, I've been to Chicago 10 times, if not more than that. They have 5 children, if not more. Maybe more. Today is as hot as yesterday, if not more so. If you go to Lake Tahoe, I recommend that you rent a boat. It was a lot of fun, and maybe you'll get a chance to meet Connor. He works for North Lake Tahoe Boat Rental, and I included their website below in the description. And remember, I always say to you, make sure that you make your own sentences with these expressions that I teach you. Talk about something related to your own life. Either say the sentences or write the sentences. This is so important. I want your knowledge to be active knowledge and not passive knowledge. Passive knowledge means you know the meaning of this expression, but active knowledge means you can use it. And that's very, very important for your confidence and your fluency in English. A lot more videos are coming soon with my conversations with native speakers from different professions and different ages. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you find out when the next video is released. To get the 2 courses, the American Accent course and the 400 advanced words you must know for fluent English, go to accurateenglish.com.